Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Make Poland Great Again, our station, our TV channel of Prąd TV. Today is the 6th of December 2018. We are broadcasting live from our studio in Lublin, Poland. With me today we have our editor-in-chief, Pastor Paweł Chojecki.
Hello.
And our chief researcher, Cezary Kłosowicz.
Hello.
So today's program is going to be pretty brief. We just want to address, well, a couple of topics, but the main subject we're going to be discussing today is, of course, the COP24 conference in Katowice in Poland, which everybody are talking about. We're going to try and show you in a nutshell just some of the things that the current administration, Polish administration, the Law and Justice Party, have some of the things that they lie about, some of the things they obfuscate, and some of their campaign promises that have also they haven't been delivered on, and even have gone completely against what they promised. So we'll focus mainly on fossil fuels because this is the conference. Also talk a little bit about gas. Just maybe we can start from this double speak, right? We have the former Prime Minister Beata Szydło and the current President Andrzej Duda on the in the meeting with the coal workers in Brzeście, where they state, and I quote, Szydło said that coal is the future of Poland, and Andrzej Duda said that as long as he's president, he's not going to allow the Polish coal industry to be murdered. And then we have on the flip side, we have Mateusz Morawiecki, the current prime minister, on the COP conference, stating the complete opposite, that now we are resigning from coal and we're moving away from it. So we have this double talk there, double speech. So can I ask you guys, maybe Pastor, we'll start with you. What do you think about this double speak?
I think that it is something very popular in our ministers and government circles, that they will say to the audience what they are expecting for the ministers or prime minister to say. So they promise a lot but do nothing. So I think that President Duda and former Prime Minister Szydło are lying coal miners in this area, which were anxious about their work, their future, and they say to them that of course we will be with you, vote for us, but the real answer for this problem is made by Prime Minister Morawiecki, which told the truth, that Poland will shut down our coal mines and will these coal miners will be without of job, and Poland will have very high prices of energy.
Mm-hmm. And what we saw before happening with some of the coal mines and also other industries is that what the government does is they sell them really cheap by sort of back deals and sort of other arrangements, corruption going on there, and then later other people who are in on the deal get to buy those things for like pennies. And can you tell us a little bit more about that? How many, like, just tell us roughly, about those deals, or maybe like an example of one deal.
Example about coal is very extraordinary robbery. It's not a trade; it's a robbery of our own nation. The ton of coal in the coal mine costs about $70, but when Poles come to buy it, we need to pay more than $250 per ton. So it's robbery.
Mm-hmm. And Cezary, maybe we can ask you as well if you can tell us a little bit about the luxury tax on coal, and also how does that affect the cost of living?
Firstly, I want to go back to this double talk, as you said, because it's not only double talk between people, but even Prime Minister Morawiecki is talking one thing one day and another thing another day.
It's an illness like that, isn't it?
On September, when he met with the miners, he said that coal is our black gold, that the mechanism will be developed to improve working conditions of miners, and that the mining regions in Poland can be a great gem and bring great glory to our economy. And a few days ago on the climate summit, he said that we show that our dependence on coal will decrease, it's decreasing year by year, and we are focusing on new sources. So when he meet with the miners, he says one thing. When he meet with people around the world that don't like coal, he says we don't like coal as well. So that's how he behaves. And luxury tax on coal, that's what you asked. Yeah, yes. It's about but that's what Pastor said. The Ministry of Energy said that last year the average cost of producing 1 ton of coal was about $70, but after taxation, after transportation, after all the firms or businesses are getting some money, but they are all controlled by the country. They're not usually private, and they sell it for more than $200. I don't know the exact price in the United States. I think it's not more than 80.
So,
something like that.
You see how we are.
And coal industry pays about more than 30 different taxes and charges and dues. But it's not unique. It's like any other industry in Poland.
It's a socialistic country, and I would like to add some more details about that. That when we have a lot of coal in our country, we import huge quantities of it from Russia, and under this PiS, Prawo i Sprawiedliwość, Law and Justice government, the quantities are bigger and bigger and bigger. So we few million tons of coal import from Russia. And the second reason why our government would like to quit our coal business is the Russian gas, because they would like to change our resources, our energy resources from coal to Russian gas, which is has the highest price in the whole Europe, in Poland, which are close to Russia.
Yeah, so Poland pays more than anybody else in Europe for Russian gas.
Yeah.
And this is interesting that you brought that up, because we recently saw that the gas that comes from US, even though all the tariffs are applied and all the additional taxes, is still 20% cheaper, was it?
Yeah.
It go by ship through the ocean, and it's still cheaper than from Russia.
By tube.
So Poland is sitting on all this coal.
Funny thing, the coal from Poland is also more expensive than the coal from Russia in Poland. Of course, it's not that good. You need more coal from Russian coal to heat your house, but it's still much cheaper.
So this is very similar to what was happening to US up until Donald Trump. All the different industries weren't able to function because of all the taxation, because they were importing all the resources from outside, from like other countries, instead of relying on their own, because their own were falling down. The same thing goes for the doublespeak. We've heard before that the Democrats use that same tactic. They wait for the trends, they see what's trending, and then and they sort of tend to align with you know, saying those things just before they get elected, and then when they get elected, they change it completely. So it seems like the tactics are very similar, yeah. and it's the same, even the same, if the tactics are the same, then the same people are behind it, which is the globalist agenda that we mention here quite often.
The second winner in this robbery in Poland are Germany, because Poland could be a very competitive economy for German. Polish people are very qualified. We have many resources, energy, and something minerals, and we have industry. And when we when the prices of our energy came up, we lose our ability to competition with German economy. So German interests are to quit our coal mines too.
And Germany is one of the largest consumers of coal in Europe. That doesn't bother them at all to you know, tell other countries to reduce their CO2 emission, which we obviously know is a complete nonsense, but we're not going to go into that. There's plenty of resources on the internet that shows you how the global warming scam is nonsense. Actually, just mention that the recent minister of the newly elected minister of foreign affairs in Brazil have stated that it's a bunch of communist propaganda and rubbish, and also the current American president Donald Trump. One of the first things he done is the whole pages of global warming have gone as soon as he was sworn into office from the presidential you know, websites, together with the LGBT and a bunch of other nonsense that was taking up space there.
So we would like to have such leaders as Americans in USA or Brazilian people now with President Bolsonaro. So we are very, very happy from these changes in other parts of the world, but we would like to have the same changes in Poland.
But before we do that, before we get those leaders, then I'll give the pleasure to you to do that. We need to first of all have a foundation based on something solid, something that you often mention, and maybe you want to wave to our viewers just before we part off.
We need to build on the rock.
Yes.
Jesus and His Word.
Amen. So I think on that note, we can finish our brief program. Hopefully,
we can also tell people in the United States, because you may not know that in the European Union, the industry has to pay for emitting carbon dioxide. They have to buy emission allowances, and now the price is rising up very much. So next year, the energy prices are going to rise up to 70%
in Poland,
just because of those emission allowances. No free market, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So this is fuel. I mean, everything is fueled by fuel. Like you need to go and bring some stuff to the post office. You need to power your car. Everything costs, and this is you know, amazing. What we saw a statement from a survey that was done within Poland, and 21% of Poles think that they don't pay any taxes, and up to 58% think that they don't pay any VAT. And this is what you mentioned after your visit in US and from your previous visits, that in US you clearly see the things the price, and then on that you see the taxes. So when you see that at the shop, at the checkout, then you might get furious. But in Poland, of course, we don't see that, because all the taxes are hidden. We pay as much as, what was it, 70 or 80% of our wages go to taxes, both visual and hidden. So
you have touched a different area of our problem, that our society is uninformed, and there is fault of our churches, and there is fault of our journalists. We have no free journalism, and about this matter there was very straight voice of U.S. Ambassador Mosbacher a few days ago. So there was a very big problem in Polish media, that United States ambassador telling us something about free media. Yes, there is lack of them in Poland.
But we know what the source for freedom is and what gives people new heart and new spine, proper spine, not one that is flimsy and not going to be able to sustain attempts of corruption, which is the word of God, what we mentioned. And all we can do is do our best and just keep praying and
inform. And every day.
Our viewers.
Each day we have programs to inform Poles in the economic, political and biblical, of course, spiritual matters.
So we hope to bring you more of these live programs as we go along. Please be patient with us. We don't know yet about the format or how often they will be, but if you follow our channels on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube and other media, on Instagram as well, you'll be able to, you'll be notified when the next live broadcast. Please share with your friends. Thank you for joining us once again from the studio in Lublin, Poland. We were with our editor-in-chief, Pastor Paweł Chojecki, and our chief researcher, Cezary Kłosowicz.
Thank you.
My name is Belostenko. Thank you for watching.